Built this yourself?
This is a top bar hive. I built it, well, not by myself, with my friend Mati here. We built hives together, and we found some different plans on the internet and took sort of elements of different plans, and it was pretty straightforward, and I'm so excited to be getting bees in it.
Yes, I'm very excited for you. And I have to say, you did a marvelous job building this.
Well, thank
Beautiful.
you. Thank you.
I'm sure there's still more of those down there.
This
Is that just a little shim
is
to help?
a little extra spacer because the way they were before, there's a little space.
Yeah, I kind of got them out of order.
Great.
Okay, so now all the rest of them are set for here?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So all the rest of them are the ones that have the little guides.
Perfect. Sandy, did you go get one of those?
Just
choose which they both say M, meaning that the queens are marked.
Oh, so they did mark the queen.
Oh, absolutely. You asked for such a thing.
No, I didn't. I asked for unmarked.
Oh, well, they made a big deal about that. Said that you wanted it marked, and I laughed, and I said, okay.
Hi, bees. This is your new home. Welcome.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take this cap off, and you don't have to worry because there's still something underneath here. So it's not like they'll come right out.
Just one fewer layer.
Right, there's a can under here. That's the feeder can. And
Oh, that's why they're all hovering around
right.
that.
Not only that, but you see this tape here?
Yeah, that's what
attached,
the queen is
right.
attached to.
And I appreciate your wisdom of backing up, but don't be concerned. As I said, I won't have them open yet. And we'll keep this handy because in a moment I'll need it.
Okay, and I just saw that one of those pieces of wood.
First thing I like to do is get all these little things out of the way so it'll be easy to do. Now, this is something that's new that a lot of beekeepers don't do, which is spray them. And I do this. This is 1-to-1 sugar water. Now, why do I do this?
Why do you do this?
Well, because it calms the bees down. Sugar is fun. They love it. It's food. First reaction is to eat it. And it makes them sticky. If they're sticky, they're not going to fly. You know, but so the balance is don't spray them too much to drown them. Now, this is the part that's the least favorite part. I have to drop all those bees off of that can.
Oh.
And that's how you do it. And then you get a hold of that can if you can, which is difficult. That's the one thing about this.
Okay, you got it.
Yep. And that's where this comes in handy.
Oh, then you're going to slide that back in to minimize the bees getting out.
Right. Exactly. See, look at that. I didn't
look
lose
at
a
that.
one. Now there might be one. Oh yeah, there's a bunch underneath. Now that can go on the ground. That's just syrup. Turn it the other way. Turn it upside down. There you go. That way it won't spill. There's good syrup in there, so you can still use that. So now the next thing I want to do is take the queen out. You see, she's got a bunch of bees around her.
Yeah.
Just so you can see. Oh, thank you. Good job, Sandy. See, you're already a
So
beekeeper.
you don't want to do it into the...
There, so you can see her.
I see. Okay, there she is.
She is the one
She's got a
that,
few in. There's a few
yeah,
in
there's
there.
what we call attendant bees. And she's marked, but the mark is already gone.
Okay.
Are the marks gone?
That's why I don't buy them marked.
Yeah.
Because they'll pick the paint off. The workers do it. Now, this is a top bar hive.
Right.
If this was not, if it was the typical, I'd have it hanging. But this one, I don't need to do that.
You just put it in the bottom?
Right. Now, this also, see, there's a cork on that end,
Yep.
and then there's another cork on that end.
One end is candy or not?
Right. One end should be.
So you're going to pull the cork out?
There. See that little?
So you're exposing the candy now.
See the candy?
Great, great,
That little
great.
hard candy in there? We can get rid of that. That's why I say sometimes you don't need the marshmallow. We don't need it today
Oh, wonderful.
because they already have that little solid piece of candy.
So you're
in
not
there.
going to hang that between two...
Okay,
two
right
See
on.
the little
bars.
candy
Yeah,
there?
yeah, yeah.
And we'll get this little camera here. We'll get the queen cage. Let's see if we got her. You know, there and there we got Sandy. Let's see, move that so you can see. There's a queen in there. So since this is a top bar hive, you can just lay it on the bottom. We'll put it on this side.
Okay, it doesn't matter that the video we watched had them hang it from the...
No, there's a lot of variations on the theme, Sandy.
Yeah, no,
there's a lot. But the reason that I do it, if this was a screen bottom, I wouldn't do this.
Okay.
The reason I'm doing it is because it's a solid bottom, and what you want is the bees will gather around her, and they'll keep her fed, and they'll keep her warm.
I see,
If you drop it on a screen, then you can't maintain that heat, plus you got the bottom.
Got it.
So that's why we'll do it with this one. Okay, so now it's just a matter of putting the rest of the bees inside.
That sounds like the scary part.
Oh, no, actually, it's pretty easy. I mean, it's a pain in the ass, but, you know, but it's not as all get all as you might think. So I spray it one more time, and you see they're not flying
They're
out.
not really flying out at
Under
all.
normal circumstances, that's what they would do.
Okay, but now we're going to try to get
Right,
them...
in here. So what I do is, see, they're all sticky, so they can't go anywhere except down. Get your slots ready, Sandy, to close, please. Because the sooner we get that done, the better. This is not what the bees like.
So now do I need to sort of like...
Now just hurry up and put them on.
I don't want to crush anything.
No, yeah, that's right. You don't have to panic, but go ahead and put those.
The shaking method.
What's that?
How they shook it, you know, in the video.
There you go.
It looks like we already have a little...
Yeah, and they'll smell that queen. There you go. There you go.
Okay, there's a few on the top.
See, this is much less traumatic for these bees
And what?
than if you were doing it with my longstruck, because they're in there. You
Okay,
put the
so I've
top on.
one extra one.
Are you sure that is that one that's? Are all these honey?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one, we could move this over by one and take out one of the empty ones?
Yes. That'd be fine. Very good.
Okay. Now what about this guy sitting on the top?
Then you go like this. Okay. Ready?
Okay, well, it looks like there's... Let me just even move down. Try to move that guy.
Okay. Ready?
Wow.
That it? Look at there. Now.
Oh, good. They found the door.
Oh yeah, they'll find it.
Okay,
Now,
here, I want to put this rock on top. Just
please do. You don't. That's what you don't want a disaster of that happening where it gets blown away. Now, don't worry about the rest of these bees. You leave this here,
And they'll just find
and
their
they'll
way.
find their way in. This is part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2. We did the installation some weeks ago. Now we're our first check to see how well Sandy's bees are doing. We're going to get the lid up, and then I'm going to have you take the bars off in a certain order. Alrighty? You shouldn't see any bees when we do this. Very good. Now what we'll do is go ahead and open up, get that and open it up for me. This will be the easiest. We'll just have you fill this. Perfect. Good. And we'll just make sure that we put this back just the way we did it. See, look, there's already a little line of them, like where did our food go? What the hell happened? So we'll put that back there. Make sure we don't crush a little one. And there, that's set. Now we don't have to mess with that anymore. Now,
Okay, right.
what you want to
Should I
do...
put these back or leave that?
Oh no, leave these here because that'll be our table, because now you're going to start taking a few. Now I'm going to do the first one. Now what you'll do is you take your hive tool, take it the flat end here, and you put it right in there. And then you twist it a little. Never try to pry it up. Twist it away first. That way you know it's completely separate. See how well they built up already? So you're going to be surprised. So now we'll take this divider out and we'll gently lay that here. Well, what we could do is, just to make sure, there. Because most of those bees won't leave the hive anyway, so we'll leave those. All right, now you get to do from now on the same thing. You start this.
I can't believe
I know, isn't that
full
something?
Structures they've made in such
Yeah,
a short time.
in just a short time. And this is usually the biggest comb because it's the furthest back from the entrance. So you see how I did that. So somehow wedge that in there and slide that forward and do it on the other end in that corner so you know that it's completely free. And then after you've done that, always put your hive tool down. I'm giving you into good habits. So now you got your both hands free. Now you can pull that up. You get to do that
Lift
yourself.
it on both sides.
Exactly, and pull it. Now listen, here's the thing. When you lift these, you've got to keep it like this. If you tilt it this way or this way, you would be surprised how much weight can get on that thing. So as you move it around, when you move it and look at it, remember you always have to keep it level. So go ahead and pull that out gently and take a good look at what you got going. Look at that. What do you think, Sandy?
Wow, it's so beautiful. It's so intricate. I can't believe that in 3 weeks they built so much.
Now, if you give that to me, very carefully, I'm going to grab this end and this end. Very good, I got her. That way I can turn it around for you. And you can see it's probably a little different on this side. See, more capped brood there. See the yellow?
Yeah.
That means they're babies. So all that you're seeing, that yellow covering, those are babies. And generally what they'll do is they put the honey around the perimeter and the babies in the bottom and in the middle. So when you look at this side, I thought that was capped honey, and it's not. It's baby brood on this side as well. I couldn't see it as well. So this is a big nursery. And what I'm trying to do, just quickly, see if I find a queen. When you hold up one of these, generally they crawl to the bottom. And I generally try to keep this frame, fairly close. So, but this is the way we got it. You always want to put them in the way you pulled them out. And so now we can let this one go all the way over near the jar, and it's still safely in the nest, and it's just fine. Now you can do the same thing with your next one. Very good. So now just do the same thing. Try to pinch them on the ends and make sure it's not sticky. If it feels like it doesn't want to come up easy, then drop it and peel it with your pry bar, with your tool. Now that looks lovely. That is a lot of babies.
Wow.
That's a lot of babies. Probably won't find a queen on there. That's a good queen too because she's covering nearly every cell. What do you think of that?
That's so good.
Now walk over here, Sandy, so you can aim it right there. Look at that. You can get a little closer. And what we're looking at right there is just almost all babies. Beautiful, Sandy. Okay, back the way she came. Okay, go again. Because we have to check and see how far this goes. Because if they were all full,
then we need to make it bigger.
There you go.
That'd be crazy if that happened.
If you keep feeding them well and the nectar run and see how the weather's been, it's been ideal for flowers. So it looks like they're not going to be hurting if they're making this many babies. There you go. Look at that. Now that's a lot of honey on this side. What do you see over here? Yeah, more of the same. Remember to keep it as level as possible, especially the heavier it is. You're doing a good job. But when you get the weight of honey, I'm just sort of getting a look to see if I can see that queen in there, and I don't. Really, most all of that's honey and capped brood. So put that one back in there, and we'll go to the next one. Wow, look at that. Dang. Dang, it feels heavy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's a lot of honey.
So this is honey.
Yeah, that's honey.
So even on this side.
Yeah, see, it's hard for me to tell because of lighting, but it looks like it. This is a very good hive. And see, generally what they do, yeah, go ahead and drop that back in there. You got it right. You haven't flipped it around wrong. Make sure you don't squish a girl. What's your question specifically?
Well, I
about?
just saw bees inside her original cage.
Right, and when she was released, they were released. That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. That's a lot of babies on that side. Well done. It's starting to descend now. You see how it's getting a little smaller?
Yeah.
You've already beaten Maddie, though. Gee, many Christmas.
In terms of how many?
And in terms of the amount, keep going. In terms of the amount of developed wax. You've got more comb on yours. He had, I think, 3 good ones and then 3 small ones. All yours, there you go, you're starting to get small. See, that's all fairly
I think
new.
is about the last one.
Yeah, and see, this is where I might end up seeing a queen because there's a lot of empty cells. So she's laying eggs. That's, you know, yep. Look at that. Very good. And it only happens for a short time. Okay, now it's a matter of just
Like
shifting them all back, nice and tight.
okay, so so can I just use the tool to push someone away, or should I just be patient?
It's just oh no. What I do is I'll just sort of slide my finger
just
in
use
there
your
like
finger.
that,
Whoa.
and then I just lift a little bit, and they get the message. And see, there's another one. So I just slide my finger because remember, most of these bees are nursing bees. They don't want to leave. So, oop, I didn't quite get that. There you go. Okay, then.
So and at what point would you add more? And
If
guess
I saw, so there was only 2 more frames, and they were halfway, I'd say put more, open it up. But you probably got another 3 weeks and see what happens then. And you're feeding them, which is good. Feeding them helps.
Now, is this leaking? Should that be tighter?
But no. It's just it's going to take a while because remember it was cold. It's making its adjustments, so it's not going anywhere because you got a solid bottom, and they'll come in there as soon as we're through confusing the hell out of them, and they'll figure it out, and they'll get in there and get all that.
And what about the couple of ants? I mean, it doesn't seem like
You don't have an ant problem right now. They're crawling around, but the way this is set up, they're not a bother at this stage. Oh, nice snug. Well done. See how nice that is.
Okay, so can you hold both of
Yeah.
those?
I'm gonna swing that closed now, huh? It's really doing well. Really is. Gosh, can't believe how well that's doing.
Okay, so I just want to take out one to, so there's space, right?
Yeah. Well, what I would do is
Oh, by this one. Take out like
right
this?
where the divider is. Take 1 or 2 of those out. Okay, and then
Okay, so they're definitely on. And then should I?
yeah, don't worry about the bees. Just put that over in a nice, neat stack. The bees will figure it out. If there's a bunch of bees on it, they'll go away. So don't freak out over that. So that's good. Now you can pull out these from here and stack those up. Don't make a big pile. Lay them right next to each other. That way, if you have to put something on top of them, you can do that. You'll have a bigger, wider, flat space. And leopard, you seeing what he's doing there? See how easy they are coming out because they haven't waxed them. But now he's going to have to treat them differently when he takes this off. Now what you can do
Just
remove that now, and we'll just take it out. Give it to leopard, and he can put it over there by the smoker.
Oh,
And
there's some
do
sort
me
of
a
little-
favor, leopard, hand me that
There's
smoker.
some little things crawling in
Yes,
there.
those are hive beetles.
Okay.
They're all over it because they love the sugar, and that's a problem. You have a problem with hive beetles. So I just want to keep this handy. But one thing I liked was that we only saw them. See, now there's just that little vent entrance.
Yeah.
There, just a little bit in there. You can take those 2 little pieces out. You don't want to leave this kind of stuff in there because otherwise they're liable to build wax on it or something.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to see that right there, you see this?
Yeah.
That's propolis.
Yeah.
That's the bees wedging it in there. Okay, now you need to get your hive tool and put it right in here and then twist it.
The
This is the divider that he's taken out. And there you go, all the way, until you can slide it far out enough. Now you know it's loose.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now you can lift that out.
And then where am I going to put it?
Well, you can lift it out and just shake a little bit. Just give it a good. What I do is go
wipe it?
wham, just
Oh,
down.
that's different
Yeah,
than shaking.
but don't hit it. Just abruptly stop. There you go. See how they come off? Yeah, there you go. And the reason I do that is because, or now you can stop. There's just a few.
You just literally
Just
rub them
literally,
on.
but don't flick them hard. And now you can lay that over there out of the way. Because see where they went? Most of them want to go back in there. See how they're sticking their butts up? That's them saying, hey, what's the deal? What's the deal? All right, now we got into the first. Give a little, just like that. Now go ahead and
And so from this end, just loosely
like we
each
did
one?
before. Now the rest you should know, which is just.
And do they
peel-
always start building from the far reaches to the near reaches?
Right. They always start from the furthest from the entrance because it's better protection. There you go. You remembered. Always put your hive tool down, particularly when you're working with this kind of thing. So now look at that. That's filled out even better. It hasn't gotten bigger, but they put more in there. It's mostly honey on the outside of that. So.
And brood in the inside?
Right. If you, in a natural way, the way they normally do it is all your pollen and honey will be formed out here, and if they have any babies, it's in the center. So all we're doing, and you see Leopard how this is, how he's just moving them back, and now you can just go ahead just to keep the bees off, so they're in the middle. As soon as you can, just close it. Now they can't get to it.
Got it.
Give it a quick look. It shouldn't be too much different. It's only been maybe a little less than 2 weeks.
One of the things fell down.
One of the things.
Something
You felt
fell down.
something.
Oh no, that I see. That's the
That's just
tape from the.
the queen's
Yeah.
cage. It's still in there.
Be careful.
We'll get that. All right, looks good.
Wow, that's so like.
And it probably feels a little heavy.
Yeah.
That's good. Those are all babies.
Wow.
So the sealed ones are the latest. They don't seal them until they're ready to pupate.
Oh, so the black spots are what? They're the babies?
Where you see the solid
As a solid.
that's covered,
Okay.
that means they're covered because they're getting ready to turn into a bee.
Uh-huh.
They were a grub, and they were fed. They look like a little worm, little white worms.
And then
Beautifully done.
one important thing that Jeff was telling me about is like you
Close
want
it
to
all
put
the
them
way.
in the same direction that they
Oh, yeah.
came out.
Yeah, you don't want to flip them around.
Right.
Very good. Putting the hive tool down each time. And look, that's a maximum frame. Look on this side, Sandy. See how
Oh, yeah.
they won't make it any bigger.
Now, do we
They-
need to worry about this guy buzzing around?
well, when he's buzzing towards you, don't worry about it too much. But we'll give her a little. There.
Ooh.
No, that's. Don't run away. Don't run away, honey. That is just them saying, "What the hell's that?" That doesn't
Yeah.
mean they're all going to come out and get you.
Yeah.
I get your point, though. I'm not
Get
trying to
the
make fun
guy
of
with
you. I
the
just want you to realize that you're doing fine. See, now that's a maximum frame too. They can't make that frame any fuller than that. And I see on this side, just hold it there for me a minute. This is babies over here and then a lot of honey on the top. So we're doing really good. And if you notice, it's mostly solid where they're covered and maybe 1 or 2 little holes open. That means that's good. That
What
means
does that
your
mean?
queen is trying to fill every little cell that she can with an egg.
So you, how many things you're seeing there? You're seeing like, so where the yellow is, that's the bee baby.
Yeah, when he
Well,
pulls
the
out
darker
the next
yellow
one,
and the lighter.
when he pulls out the next one, I'm going to give you a better view.
What are those black spots?
Those are varroa. Those are bees. I mean,
Mites.
hive beetles.
Oh.
The little black beetles that are going.
Oh,
See,
then-
now this hasn't filled out quite yet, and it hasn't gotten all the way to the side.
Uh-huh.
But that's a lot of bees too. All right, here's what I'm going to do.
So the black spots are the invasive.
Where do you see the black spots? Like they're just uncapped.
Yeah, that's just a
that's
cell that hasn't
uncapped
been
cells.
sealed. Bring it over here, Sandy,
So that
and allow me
hasn't
to
been
turn around this way. Allow me to take this from you, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
Okay,
Now-
and
now
so
look.
it goes the other way. It goes.
I understand. This is the way it'll go when it goes in.
I thought the other way.
Okay, that way.
Yeah, I just
right.
want to keep track of it.
Yes, please
Oh.
remember.
But
Okay.
now I'm not certain.
Well, now I'm going to make sure because I'm going to hold it this way so that we have it the proper way that it should drop in. All right. You see there's a little wet. Sometimes that on the edge. Oh, these, actually there isn't. These are all brood, all babies. So all these will be bees. They just covered them. These open chambers, they either have an egg in it or a little grub. And that's it. I was just kind of looking to see if I could see it queen. All right, Sandy.
Now, honestly, I have lost track of the direction.
I think you have it right.
You think this is right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
if we're wrong, what is it serious?
They'll come and send you a little note and complain to you. And now, Leopard, what we're really after is I want them to look at every one of these bars because I want to see how many to the end here are all the way full.
Okay.
If it doesn't look like this when we get to the end, then we may not need to
Can you move
expand.
my
anything.
cap towards the back?
Oh, yeah.
It's in my eyes a little bit, yeah.
Well, and you're also wearing your cap backwards, honey.
Oh,
Yeah, this little seam thing here should be in the back,
Oh.
and the wider should be in the front. So you're all right, though. Doesn't that look beautiful?
now it's interesting that they all have this little sort of like valley in the center.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Here's why.
Because that's
The queen cage. And they don't want to, so we're going to remove that, and they'll eventually, if you come back out here in a couple weeks, they'll probably have that fixed. So I'm going to take
Okay,
this.
so you want me to just wipe this with my finger?
Yeah, just take your finger, there you go. But at the same time, you got to be right on it. So I usually have one finger. What I do is I put this edge, see how I do this, the edge? I touch this edge here,
I see.
and then I go, that way there's no
Okay,
bees that are going to get in the way right when I
Got
close it.
Okay, I love your technique.
I didn't come up with it, I learned it. So it's not me. There you go.
It is freaky how that like makes
That noise,
them, yeah.
it's intimidating if you're not prepared for what's happening. You think, oh my God, what are they doing? See, now the wax is starting to close. It's starting to get smaller.
So this is, we're getting towards the newer.
Yes, and you can tell because
And okay, look at
it's
this
white.
one. At the end, it's not fully attached. I guess it is. It's not. It's
Well,
gone off of the guide.
you're right, and that's not your fault. That's the bees. They just, for some reason,
Fucking
didn't
bees.
quite. Fucking bees can't even do it right.
Look how like I love how like it's clean and
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And you notice they're not like they're all over you, Leopard, and you're not wearing anything.
I am very aware of that.
It's the breed of bee.
I was just, I was curious just to sort of try it out, but yeah.
There you go.
I feel like if I keep my vibe high, they're not going to attack me.
Right. And they're Italian. Depending on the strain will depend on what kind of behavior you
Uh-huh.
get. If you
Okay,
got Russian
now-
bees, it would be a very different story if we had Russian bees in
Well,
here.
why do people choose to work with more aggressive bees? Do they-
Because oftentimes more aggressive bees produce more honey.
Okay.
Because they're aggressive, and the reason they have more honey is because they are aggressive and keep people from messing with it. So
Okay.
by looking at it right now, Sandy, you don't need to add anything new. I can tell right now,
Yeah, look,
just
we're
by
still working
looking,
on that.
that you still have, but that's really good looking comb.
This is a great shot
Yeah.
of this.
There you go. You always have to use your
Them making
hive tool. Yeah, you don't have to get so crazy with it right now because we're near
So
the
the
end.
comb, that's the wax. is
Yes,
it?
sir.
Yeah. Okay.
honeycomb.
Honeycomb.
And the
wax.
only bees that are newly born do that.
Are we seeing propolis here?
Yes.
That's the sticky stuff.
yeah,
what's
see,
So here they're starting to make.
they're starting to form on that one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there you can see in the center there.
Right.
Very good.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. The next two, nothing.
Yeah, I would recommend don't even mess with these. Just start putting them back now.
Okay, so similar kind of process where they're. Now, is it unusual that there'd be so much in the first 3 weeks and then things would slow down a little bit?
No, that's very typical. And because they're compensating, they're getting themselves set up. Now, there's a peak season, you know, they'll eventually stop making as much wax and just live and then doing more storage than anything else. But what I'm looking at right now, they're still growing as a hive, because if they felt like they were maxed out, not only would you have all those frames full of wax, but I'd start seeing queen cells and I'd start seeing drone cells. and they look very different. They look like anomalies.
Oh, so these are not drone cells?
No, none of these are drones.
Worker cells. They're just making more and more
Right.
workers,
If a drone cell is about a quarter size bigger and they stick out really funny, so you
Okay.
can see them right away.
Okay.
Same with the queen cell, and generally they don't put the queen cells if they're making new queens except on the very bottom hanging part of the hive, and they really stick out.
Okay.
They call them queen cups. They look like little mud cups.
Uh-huh.
Keep going. I'm just going to pick that dead thing off there.
So what about these hive beetles? You have to worry about
Hive
that?
beetles, but I don't think you have to worry about it because as I was looking at the frame here, they weren't on the frames. They were just on the bottle where the sugar was, which is a good sign. And if the hive is healthy like this, the
They keep
hive
them out,
can
do they?
keep them at bay.
Yeah, right.
They actually will feed them.
Oh,
Yeah, they'll push them out and they keep a line of guards if the hive beetles are really aggressive, and they keep that phalanx of bees there all the time so the beetles can't get into the hive wax and get into the honey.
Oh.
And to further sort of slow them down, they'll literally feed them.
Wow. Feeding the enemy.
Yes, it's a tactic. Well done, Sandy. So you got this down.
You can learn from that.
Yeah.
So really the main reason we're doing this is to see if it's full, then you'd start extending the hive.
Right, we would start putting more of
Yeah,
these
right.
Now
frames
should I
over here.
put? Maybe I already put one of the. I don't think that I needed to take this one. I think that. So right.
Yes, you're right. I understand what you're saying. Does that have a groove on it?
No.
Then slip that over. Does this one have a groove?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it has a ton of honey. You know,
Okay,
it has a
good. So
ton
this
of-
is where you'd put your divider then. And you can tell that's just about where you had it because look here, leopard. You see that line
Yeah,
there?
I do. That's a propolis.
That's
is it?
propolis.
Uh-huh.
And look at here. Look on the divider. Right there.
Yeah,
And if you
right.
put your finger on it, it's really sticky.
Okay, right.
Here, we'll pick a little off.
Do you nibble on that?
Yeah, here. That little bit there. It's very gooey and has almost a chemically kind of flavor to it. And all it is
You're gonna swash one.
pure antibiotic.
Oh yeah.
It's just resin from leaves.
Oh,
like
wow.
you know, THC beads on pot.
Mhm.
They're all over these leaves.
Okay.
Almost all trees put it out.
Okay.
It's their form of look at it like antibiotics or
Ooh, I don't
protection
know
for
how to do
themselves.
this without.
What's
like,
happening?
You know, they're just like under.
Oh, well here, let's do this. Move that divider away. Okay. Now go. Just drop it down. They'll get used to it. There you go. And sometimes you have to mash it a little. Put it in there because the propolis is starting to get sticky.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's a dead bee. Oh no, it wasn't. It was just a little knot.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. See, look at that smoke. That's perfect.
Okay, I bet I'm turning it the wrong way because I can see.
Well, does it
Well,
matter?
no,
There-
but there's propolis.
Oh, I
mean,
see.
might as well have
Yeah, you might
this
as well.
side down. Okay, then the last one is a little.
A little tough to get in there.
Oh, look at that. There's one that's like a little spacer one.
Yeah, like a shim.
If at some point it seems like it's a big struggle to get it in, we can just take that out.
Gotcha.
Okay. You set?
A little further down. Hang on.
Beautiful.